it's going. Good evening, and greetings, horror fans. I'm Midnight Researcher, and I bid you special welcome to the third and final installment of Midnight Society VR, hosted exclusively, no, not exclusively, by HorrorCon VR. Faked ya. Tonight, we have even more participants in this Tales of Terror that we've got going for you tonight. 5 participants and 5 stories. I again will not be reading tonight. However, for starters, I would like to direct everyone's attention to a very special guest tonight that has made it through many trials and tribulations into VR chat for you all here today and you all on the stream. Creepy Clown Girl, I would like to instruct you to begin reading your own story. And you may begin when you are ready.
I am Creepy Clown Girl and submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. This is my story, Club to Death. Once a year we get to dress up and pretend to be someone or something we're not. But strange things could and do happen when the sun goes down and the night comes about. You just never know what might be lurking within the shadows, waiting to strike. So if I were you, I wouldn't go anywhere alone, especially without a light. This is the story of one such Halloween when I decided to dress up as a sexy clown and with my friend go out on the town. I grabbed my keys and I excitedly hurried out the door while also forgetting my keys. While also forgetting my phone, my phone. It wasn't until later when a friend of mine asked me to use it that I realized I left it at home. Sorry? I say as I look up at my friend who now has an annoyed look on her face. She shrugs as we turn to head inside. That's when we get a weird feeling that something isn't right. Opening the door, we step inside, Opening the door, we step inside, letting our eyes adjust to the dim room, and we notice that the club is now empty. We turn to look at each other in We turn and look at each other in confusion. Now getting scared. My friend broke the silence by asking in a shaky tone, "Where is everyone?" "I don't know," I say as I turn and start to walk away to go see where everyone had gone. My friend says, "Hey, wait, you ain't leaving me here alone," she says, following after me. Slowly, we start making our way through the club, looking around for anyone, but still find no one. But the air still smelled of cheap perfume, alcohol, and still cigarette smoke. Making our way towards the back of the club, we were suddenly stopped by a noise that left us frozen in fear. We were looking towards the stage, and we could hear heavy breathing, and for a moment we thought we could see something moving. Suddenly my friend lets out a scream that echoed throughout the empty club, causing me to jump clean out of my skin We both take off in different directions, now making it easier for that creature to corner us. Looking for a place to hide, I crawl under a table near the jukebox, shaking, scared, and now alone. I peeked my head out from the tablecloth to see if I could see anything. That's when I noticed my friend hiding under a table in the corner next to the bathroom. She saw me and started to mouth something, but before I could react, I heard a growl. Then out of the corner of my eye, that's when I saw it. A massive creature with short black hair, huge feet, long fangs, and a head like a wolf, but its body looked like a pig's. In shock, I fell backwards, grabbing my mouth, trying not to scream. While still trying to process what I think I just saw, I was quickly snapped out of it by the sound of glass breaking, table and chairs being thrown around the room, and then I heard my friend's blood-curdling scream. Looking out from under the tablecloth, I see the beast running towards her, and with one quick motion, he was on top of her, ripping her apart. The sickening sound that now echoed throughout the club made me throw up. Without thinking about it, I let out a scream that caused the beast to stop feasting on my friend and turn its attention to me. In horror, I watched as the beast, now with a blood-soaked face, turn and start running towards me. Again, without thinking, I ran out from under the table and start running towards the front door, hoping I can escape this nightmare. With the beast still behind me and fast approaching, I reached for the front door, swinging it open and run outside, the door slamming behind me. Outside, still shaking and scared, I collapsed to the ground and started crying. Stopping to wipe my eyes, I listened closely and realized that there are now sounds of laughter and music coming from inside the club. Confused and clumsy, I stood up and had to go back inside. Before going in, I paused a moment and think to myself, what the hell just happened? Opening the door, I step inside and I notice that everything is back to normal with the exception of one thing. My friend was still gone forever.
Now I believe that is the end of CCG's story. Thank you very much, CCG. We're going to move on now
Sorry.
to Filia Noctis.
Hi, I'm Filia Noctis, and you, my wonderful nyctophiliacs. I submit this Story for the approval of the Midnight Society. Timothy Durand's May I Die This Time. I don't know how long I've been down here. Days, weeks, months, minutes? The amount of time doesn't matter. What matters is that I've been down here much longer than I should have, and I need to get out of here one way or another. The problem is that I only have one way out, and for some reason, I keep coming back. I can barely remember how I got here. Maybe I stumbled and fell down a hole. Maybe I was kidnapped and held down here. None of that matters either. All that matters is what I can remember. And all I remember is him. That sick monster and his evil eyes that he hides behind a disgusting mask. The mask is covered in old blood and is stained from a lot of use. He always comes in with his old rusted blade and a spoon to do horrible things to me. I wish I could find some hope of freedom. I just want to breathe a breath of fresh air and be free. Is that too much to ask? But freedom won't come in the form. Freedom for me will come in the form of my death rattle. For as long as I can remember, this man with the twisted spoon and the broken rabbit mask has always come down a long hallway in a dark, wet tunnel where I'm kept at the end of it. All I can see beyond my dirty hair and the blood he leaves on me is wet stone walls and a wooden door with an opening at the end of it he uses to see me through. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I can't seem to reach it. He has me chained to the wall at the end of this tunnel. No matter how much I tug or pull, all it ever did was tear into my flesh. Whoever this man was, it did not matter. What matters is that he would not let me leave. He would make his way into my narrow room quite often. I have no framework by which to tell how often he would come, but I could tell that it was a lot. Every time he would come in, he would always come in with some new way to torture me. I could tell that he enjoyed it. He has a but he always had a grin beneath that partially broken mask. I could see it just at the edge of the mask, the way the lines around his eyes would crease. He truly enjoyed what he would do to me and never ceased in finding new ways to have fun with me. The problem for me was that no matter how hard I tried, I could not seem to leave. Not even in my death could I find peace. It seems like every time I would have a visit for him and I saw him leave, I would regain a sense of energy after his departure. He was toying with me. But why? What could compel a man to do something like this to anyone is beyond me. But that answer seems as far away as an escape. No, escape is nothing more than a dream for me. Finding an escape from this nightmare full of terror and bloodshed would be a greater gift than anything else I could would compare than to not have to feel metal shackles wrapped around my ankles and wrists, or the knife as it ripped through my neck every time he would come to visit me. It seems as if my mind, my body, and my spirit are trapped down here. Not even death seems to serve as a means of escape. Every means by which you could imagine dispatching a person with, he's done it. Every possible way you could kill someone, he's done it to me. And no matter what he does, he makes sure to slit my throat and collect my blood in a dirty white cup that has been stained brown with blood. As my eyes would close, I would feel him rake his twisted spoon up against my neck to taste the remainder of what would not fit in his cup. He would put his mask back slightly and take a taste of my blood with his twisted spoon. The light from the single light bulb would always shine just enough for me to be able to see his smile and the black irises of his eyes, like the soulless eyes of a monster. Ats always held a somewhat distinguished demeanor. Somehow, behind that mask and his blood-stained apron and pants, I could tell that the walk and movement of a gentleman existed. Somehow, though, this man saw fit to keep me caged against a wall inside this dark room to keep me from my blood. And to what end would he use my blood? I would never know. All I know that my last hope of escape came when he came in with a large axe. This time I told him to take my head with him. My hope was that maybe if my head were to leave this room, maybe I would be able to leave in peace. This was before the spoon became twisted. He did as I asked and chopped off my head, collected the blood and tasted it with the spoon. I had a few brief seconds that were filled with searing pain and a sense of choking. I tried to breathe in, but there was no means from pouring out of me and from my brain to gain a second wind. I was slowly fading, but my eyes flittered with the hope as he carried my head out. However, he realized what my plan was of escape, and he turned to me with a sense of anger before his smile twisted. And all I heard, before I felt his spoon plunge into my left eye, were the words, "Nice try." And like that, I was back, chained at the end of the room, and left with no way out. Since that day, his spoon that he comes to sip my blood with has been twisted, much like his soul. He comes in frequently now, always coming in with the same attire and his knife to cut my neck open, the twisted spoon to taste my blood, and the mask so my look of fear or despair would not taint his grinning face. I have been left with no hope of escape and no way out. All I hope for is my death rattle to come. I long for nothing but my death and peace. Dear God, what have I done to deserve this? I can hear him coming. If mercy does exist, may I die this time. Thank you.
Hello. My name is CreepsSpaghett. And, I'm submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society Masterpiece by Anonymous. I have been lying down for hours now. It's 5:35 a.m. and there's not much I can do. You know what the worst part about my situation is? I'm in the same room as my parents. They keep looking at me, and I can't help but look back and try not to cry or scream. Their eyes are focused on me, and their mouths are wide open. There's a strong sense of blood, and I feel paralyzed with fear. Here's the thing. The second I make any hint that I'm not asleep anymore, I'm completely fucked. I will die, and there's nobody around to save me. I've been trying to think of a way, but the only idea that I have is to rush to the front door and scream for help, hoping any neighbors would hear me. It's risky, but if I stay here, I'll surely die. He's waiting for me to wake up and see his masterpiece. You're probably wondering what's going on. I do tend to get ahead of myself sometimes. About 3 hours ago, I heard screaming from the other side of the house. I got up and went to check on the noise before realizing I had to use the restroom instead of doing the smart thing and investigating. I used the bathroom first, and I could have gotten myself killed right then and there for my stupid actions. I did my business and took a peek outside the bathroom. There was blood on the carpet. I got very worried and ran back to my room, hiding under the sheets like the pussy I was.